Now back to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show, which is presented to you by Power Planter Earth Augers, the official digging tool. To find the right size for your digging project, visit powerplanter.com. Now here are your hosts, Joey and Holly Baird.
Welcome back to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener Radio Show. Holly, let's go to the hotline and bring in our guest for the week.
Pam Farley is also known as the Brown Thumb Mama. She is a blogger, author, and small business owner. She also released an ebook recently just for new gardeners.
Welcome to the program, Pam.
Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join not only Holly and myself, but all of our listeners from across the country. We appreciate the time you're going to give us.
Thanks.
So let's talk about this ebook that you wrote, The Ultimate Beginning Gardening Bundle. What inspired you to write this book? Where was the aha moment that you said, hey, this is what I'm going to do and here's how I'm going to do it?
I've always written about gardening on my blog, Brown Thumb Mama, and I'm not terribly good at it, which is why I say I have a brown thumb. I don't quite kill everything. I don't quite have a booming garden either. And I realized that a lot of the gardening books and information out there assumes you know things like, what is direct sun? Do I have to plant seeds right side up? Super duper basic questions that people might be embarrassed to ask. So I thought, let's just answer as many, like take the reader by the hand, answer as many questions as I can think of, and help them with super basic things like, how do I know if I have enough sun? How do I know if I have enough water? That kind of thing.
Well, in the procedure of writing this book, was there a certain tip or a certain piece of information that kind of shocked you, like, I never even thought about including that until I did the study for it?
I asked a bunch of colleagues in my town, other people who were thinking about gardening and considering it, and they didn't know when to plant what, which different zones, they didn't know about climate zones and what to plant during what time of year. So I made sure to put together a list. There's a list in the bundle with every U.S. planting zone and all of the vegetables you can plant on each individual month. So whether you're...
And the other thing is that with your zones, a lot of people, and I'm sure you ran into this, that people think gardening only happens in the spring and summer and then you're done until the next year. But you can actually, in some zones, grow literally year-round.
Yes. I'm in Zone 9, and there is actually something we can plant every single month of the year. It's fantastic.
That's definitely a very versatile book and information. Now, what are some commonly used essential oils in the garden, and what are they used for?
There are actually quite a few. One of the most popular ones, and that my readers really appreciate, is using a few drops of rosemary essential oil mixed with water in a spray bottle, and you spritz that around your garden, and it keeps cats away. I love cats, but I don't like them using my garden as a litter box. Well, so short of planting rosemary plants, just spritzing some rosemary water around is a scent that they don't like and they will avoid.
How frequently do you have to apply that? After a rain, or does the scent last a long time?
It depends on how sunny and how windy it is. I tend to go out and do it about once a week. Just, I would rather apply it more frequently and get them not even associating my backyard as a place to be than to have it slip and have them decide, oh, that cucumber patch looks really nice and lovely.
And
another...
Go ahead with it. Yeah, I was going to ask what would be another one?
Another great oil that helps with fungus or mildew, like powdery mildew or downy mildew, is Melaleuca, which is also known as tea tree. 10 drops of Melaleuca and 1 cup of water in a spray bottle. And then you only want to use that about once a week. And you want to, it can cause the leaves to be a little sensitive to sunlight, so you would want to apply it later in the day, like towards the evening, so that the sun doesn't burn the leaves.
Now, whenever people are saying, well, I don't have cats. Well, a lot of times you may not have cats, but there's a lot of cats that wander around. So the application to keep them out, you want to be proactive instead of reactive, because once they've established their little territory, it's hard to get a stray cat unless you physically remove it and take it somewhere.
Exactly. And who's going to sit outside all day with a squirt bottle of water to deter them yourself? It's easier to just, like you say, keep them away proactively.
And it's very interesting about the Melaleuca tea tree oil, because powdery mildew is a very common problem for many people. So I know that people are always looking for some sort of solution. So you are an advocate for natural living, and that's part of the reason we asked you about the essential oil question. But also, what is natural living? I think some people have many misconceptions about it. And what are some ways people could live more naturally no matter where they live?
That is a great question. So for me, natural living does not mean giving away everything you own and, wearing sackcloth and ashes and living in a stone hut and things like that. It means quite simply to be a producer instead of a consumer. Maybe you decide to bake your own bread, or you decide to grow a couple of herbs on your windowsill. Use essential oils, make your own natural cleaners instead of buying the chemical concoctions at the store. Those kinds of things can help reduce of course, they reduce the plastics and the commerce and things like that. They also help you to learn skills and things that you can use. It's more, I'm trying to think of the best way to express it. Although it can be tougher to learn to bake your own bread, the sense of achievement is incredible as opposed to going to the store and buying a loaf of bread in a plastic package.
Now, if I remember right, that you're not a big advocate of using bleach, but you have a recipe in which you can utilize some more natural products in order to get the same effect. Am I remembering this correctly?
That's right. It is. There are actually a few different ways that you can naturally kill germs without bleach. The easiest one that probably everybody's going to have these items in their pantry right now is hydrogen peroxide and plain white vinegar. So what you do is you either put them into a spray bottle or just screw a spray lid onto the top, keeping each one of those in separate bottles. You spray the vinegar onto the surface that you're disinfecting, leave it sit for a few minutes, don't wipe it off, and then you spray the hydrogen peroxide on the surface again, and you leave it evaporate, you don't wipe it off. The combination of those two, of the vinegar and the hydrogen peroxide, create peracetic acid, which is effective against things like Salmonella, E. coli, and Listeria. There's actually an article written about it in the National Institute of Health. It's been scientifically studied. So that's one of my favorites. There are some times when you wouldn't use that. You won't use vinegar if you have granite or marble countertops. And they teach you that when you have those countertops put in, because vinegar is acidic and it can damage the stone.
Well, very, very interesting when it comes to what naturally, and that's what a lot of people, they've been brought up to go to the store. That's where you get the products. But there's a lot of, everything in nature has a purpose. And if we understand what that purpose is, we can be probably better off health-wise, but also financially as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. And something like using vinegar and peroxide, or even just, something, even if you want to use like rubbing alcohol, a bottle of rubbing alcohol to make some sort of diluted wipes or whatever, is a lot more cost effective than purchasing ones that are pre-made for you.
That's supposed to be flushable, but they really aren't.
Well,
yes,
I'm talking about like surface wipes, but yeah.
And exactly. And if your kid got bleach in their eyes or anything like that. It's so much more damaging.
So how can people find out more about you? How can people get a hold of the ebook that you wrote? Where can we all go to learn more about you and purchase the book?
So everything is available at brownthumbmama.com, spelled M-A-M-A. There's information about the Ultimate Vegetable Gardening Bundle, lots of new recipes like strawberry freezer jam and how to get rid of aphids naturally. So something for the gardeners, something for the natural living folks, lots of recipes, and all of my social media handles are also Brown Thumb Mama.
Well, Pam, we greatly appreciate you taking time out of your day to not only enlighten Holly and myself, but all of our listeners all over the country.
Thanks again. It's great to talk with you.
Absolutely.
For more information, please visit thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.